Hello and welcome to ARX webinar about enhancing SharePoint approvals with digital signatures. My name is Igor Mortkovic. I'm a professional services engineer at ARX. During this webinar, we'll be talking about signatures, both handwritten and digital. We'll talk about CoSign as a product for digital signatures, and we'll talk about CoSign and SharePoint together and how we can achieve digital signatures in SharePoint. Okay, so let's get started and let's talk about signatures in an organization. In today's world, signatures can be found in about any process or activity in an organization. Just for example, you have a list of approval forms that can be used in different organizations, such as contract approval, purchase order form, an absence request, and a travel authorization form. These are very common, and all of them require signatures, usually more than one. So the most common way to create signatures on such forms is simply to sign on a piece of paper. And the pros of this approach is that it's very easy and intuitive. We do it for ages, and there is no need for external technologies or automated devices, so it's rather simple and easy to use. There are also several downsides to this approach. So first of all, there is a significant cost for signing when you need to route this paper throughout the organization for different people to sign. So you need to send it by email and then print it out and then scan it back in, and then you need to archive all of these papers. There is also the monitoring problem. So we have several processes running together for signing. It's very difficult to know to what point the current process is in right now. And also it's very easy to forge signatures on a paper. You can add stuff after you actually sign the document and nobody will know that something was added. And you can easily forge the signature itself. In order to reduce costs for using paper and also to achieve better monitoring solutions and archiving, many companies turn to document management solutions. These solutions allow you to have all the processes within one single point. SharePoint is a great example for the document management solution. Not only that SharePoint allows you to reduce the use of paper by digitizing all of your processes, it also allows you to monitor and archive these documents in a digital format so that the paper usage in the organization is reduced to minimum. But what happens when you actually want to sign a document in a SharePoint workflow? Then you still have the same problem as before, because you actually need to print the document, you need to sign on that document, you need to scan it back into the system. And this not only breaks the automated process, it also introduces back the cost that you try to save using the document management system. So this is where digital signatures come into play. They allow you to automate the entire process and to maintain this workflow within SharePoint without actually having to print and scan the documents back. So what are digital signatures? When we talk about digital signatures, we usually talk about the three I's of the signature. The first I is the identity of the user. The idea of the user that signed the document is being embedded into the document, and this way you can definitely know who the signer was when the signature took place. The second I stands for the intent of the signer. So we add a reason for the signing process. And the third I, which is a very important I, is the integrity of the document. So when digital signature is created on a document, basically you know that from this point on the document was not changed, and if it was changed, you get a visual indication saying the document has been modified since it was signed. We conducted a survey together with AIM in order to get a better feel of what are the major benefits of digital signatures in the eyes of our users. So 2/3 of the users said that the most important benefit of digital signature is the ability to speed up an approval process. Also, almost 2/3 said that saving on staff time scanning, copying, and routing is a major benefit for them. And of course, this is converted into an ROI, which basically allows you to save on paper and handling costs. And also, half of the people in the survey said that the proven compliance for audit and electronic archive is also a huge benefit for digital signatures. So as you can see, about 63% of the users that were asked said that the ROI was achieved in less than 12 months, which is great. So now that we know more about the benefits of digital signatures, let's talk about CoSign and how it enables to sign documents within an enterprise. CoSign is a very secure hardware appliance which is network attached. Inside CoSign there are three main components: digital signing keys for each user, the graphical images, and the user certificates. CoSign can sync with user directories such as Active Directory in order to automate the user creation and deletion process. Once a user is created inside CoSign, CoSign will automatically generate the private key and create the public key, and then it will create the signing certificate as well for each user. And after the user was created and all of the signing keys are in place, a user can upload graphical images in order to embed them when signing digitally. A typical flow of signing a document using CoSign would be a user opens the document on his desktop or in SharePoint. It will click on the sign button, and then a hash, which is a fingerprint of the document which uniquely identifies the document, will be calculated, and then using the signing key of the user, CoSign will sign on the document and embed the signature into the document. So let's talk about the main benefits of CoSign. Once installed, CoSign can leverage the existing user management systems such as Active Directory for centralized control over user creation and deletion. CoSign is a low maintenance product and it is very easily scalable. It also easily integrates with existing infrastructures and provides APIs for more advanced integrations. Okay, so now that we know what is CoSign, let's talk about CoSign and SharePoint and why it makes sense to use them together. So first of all, both CoSign and SharePoint are centralized server-based solutions. They both sync with Active Directory for user management, and when using them both together, they enable users to sign only using their browser without any software installed on the client machine. So what is CoSign for SharePoint? First of all, it's an off-the-shelf product. It can be installed and deployed in SharePoint 2007 or 2010 environments, and it is a standard solution that can be deployed as WSP file. Once CoSign for SharePoint solution is deployed, it allows you to do the following things. It enables you to sign different document types such as PDF files, Word and Excel documents. You can also sign InfoPath web forms without having InfoPath installed on your client machine. Also, a very powerful feature is the workflow integration. Another nice feature of this solution is the ability to sign list items inside the SharePoint list. There are two main options to enable SharePoint with digital signatures. One is to use the client-side approach, and then you have to install a software on your client PC, and after you sign a document you can upload it into SharePoint when it's already digitally signed. Another approach would be to use a web browser and a document that is already inside SharePoint, and to sign on this document using the server-side signing approach. The way it works is basically when a user clicks on a document, the SharePoint server interacts with CoSign on behalf of the user and uses the user's signing key in order to sign. Once the signing process is completed, the signature is being embedded into the document, and the document is being checked back into the document library, and therefore you have a signed document in the document library on SharePoint. Another huge benefit of using this approach is the fact that you only use your web browser in order to sign, and all of the current smartphones and tablets allows you to use a web browser, so that means that you can actually sign using those mobile devices using SharePoint and CoSign. So now that you know more about the CoSign and SharePoint solution, I think it would be a good time to show you the solution itself. At this point, I would like to demonstrate the CoSign for SharePoint solution. Although the demo is demonstrated on a SharePoint 2010 machine, the same functionality is available for SharePoint 2007 as well. The first thing we notice is that our solution makes SharePoint kind of aware to digital signatures in the document library. So you can see that there are different indications regarding the fact that there are signatures in the document. You can see signature related data such as the signature counter, which shows how many signatures there are in the document. You can see the last signer name if the document was signed, like we see in the PO Word document. You can also see that the signature is valid in case of the PO document. So let's click on the PO PDF document and see how the document actually looks like inside. So this document is an example of a purchase order, and there are two places where a person could sign. So the first place is dedicated for the purchasing manager, and the second place is dedicated for the VP sales. So now we will close the document and we'll head back to our SharePoint document library. So in order to demonstrate the user experience, we'll run a workflow that requires signatures from two different people on this PO PDF document, and we call this workflow PO PDF signing workflow. This workflow is very simple and it actually requires two different users. The first name is user demo1 and the second user is demo2 to sign on this document. The demo1 user is the purchasing manager in our case, and the second user, demo2, is the VP sales for this demonstration purpose. We will now log in as user demo1 and we'll see that we have a signature task waiting for us, and we'll sign this signature task using CoSign. So now we see that there is a to-do task assigned for this user demo1, and this task applies to the PO PDF file. In order to complete the task, I will click on the assign to-do task, and then we can actually see the workflow progress. So after clicking the respond to task link, I am being forwarded to what we call a signing ceremony page. The user can either reject the signing operation or he can approve it by signing the document. So the user can review the signature fields clicking on the PO PDF link. So this action allows the user to preview the document, and it also allows the user to actually see where he is about to sign. The purchasing manager signature was predefined in the workflow settings. So now that we've finished reviewing the document, we will proceed with the signing operation by providing our username and password. So in this case, I'm providing the user demo1 and its password, and then I'm clicking the sign button, and this will do two things. First of all, it will sign on the document using CoSign. And second of all, it will notify the workflow that demo1 signed the document, and the workflow can continue to the next step. So now we can see that the first task was completed, and now the second task is waiting for execution, and the second task is intended for the user demo2. So we will log in as the user demo2 into the SharePoint environment, and we will see that there is again a task waiting for demo2 to be signed on. So now we can see that there is another task waiting. This time it's intended for user demo2, and we'll also click on the assign to do task current action, and then we'll proceed with the signing operation for the second user in order to sign the document again, this time using the VP sales profile also specified by the workflow. So this time the predefined profile is VP sales, and you can also see in the preview that the demo1 signature in the purchasing manager location was already applied. So now click on the go to signature to see where the VP sales signature will be located, and then we'll provide our signing credentials, the demo1 credentials, in order to approve this document once again and to create a new digital signature in the document. And as a result of that, the workflow will come to an end, and the document will have two digital signatures inside. We can now see that the workflow is completed since the two signature tasks were completed. And then if we go back to the document library, we'll see that the document was signed, that signature counter is 2, the workflow is completed, and the signature is valid. We can also see the last signer name, which is demo2. Let's open the document to see how the signature looks like inside the PDF file. So you can see that there are two signatures in the correct locations, demo1 and demo2, and this is previewed using the Adobe PDF Reader. So once you click on a signature, you can see all kind of details such as the identity of the signer. We can see the certificate of the signer that was used for the signing process. It is embedded into the document, and you can see also that the document was not changed since it was signed in the summary. So since these are standard PDF digital signatures, you can send this document to any person you want outside of your organization, and he will be able to open the document without having access to your SharePoint environment or to CoSign. Another great feature of CoSign for SharePoint is the ability to sign InfoPath forms. This is a travel request form, and I will just fill in my details. I will request a travel from New York to Chicago, for example. And after I will input all my details, I will save this form into the form library. Now we'll check in the form into the form library. And I will sign the form. As you can see, the signature counter is still 0. So I will sign this form as the request for the approval. So I'm choosing the request signature, and then I'm entering my reason for signing. So my reason is please approve this document. And then I'm entering my own credentials, and I'm clicking the signing button in order to sign the request signature field. Now a signature was created in the form, and I can review all the signatures from within SharePoint without even opening the document. So I'm clicking on the document and I'm clicking on the review signatures, and I can see all the details regarding the signatures, such as date and time of the signing, and also the reason I just entered. You can see that the last signer name is my name, and the signature counter was updated to 1, and the signature is valid. So now I can check out the document, and now I will act as the approver. So I'm checking out the document, and then I'm adding the approval notes. All of the other fields are being sealed in the document by the first signature, and all I can do is to add the approver notes and then sign on the document. So you will now see that the note says I approve, and now I will check the document back in, the form back in, and I will sign this form. This time I'm signing the form as John Miller, which is the approver in this case, and in the reason field I will say I approve. So now the document will be signed, and in the form itself you will be able to see that there are 2 signatures and the last signer name is John Miller. Notice that everything was done using only the browser, and there is no need to install the InfoPath client. So this means that mobile devices can be used for digital signing as well on InfoPath forms. So let's summarize why CoSign in SharePoint. So CoSign is a leading digital signature solution for the enterprise. Once it's deployed, it can work seamlessly with the enterprise Active Directory or any type of user directory which is LDAP based. It scales easily, so you can start off with several users and then go to a large number of users. It supports many authentication methods such as username and password and Kerberos, or more advanced methods such as OTP and even biometric fingerprints. CoSign fully integrates with SharePoint and allows to sign different types of documents directly in the SharePoint document library. It also enables you to sign InfoPath forms within a form library, and it enables workflows with digital signatures. For more advanced integration options, CoSign provides API which is called SAPI, and it is a very high-level API for digital signatures. It allows to introduce digital signatures into complex processes very easily. I would like to take a moment to talk about ARX. ARX was founded in 1987. It is a privately held company, and it is a worldwide leader of digital signatures and data security solutions. ARX provides different products for the security and digital signatures markets, including cryptographic USB tokens and smart cards, private server HSMs, and the CoSign digital signature solution which we saw before. The CoSign market footprint slide easily demonstrates that digital signatures are needed in all verticals. So it shows here that if it's a finance or healthcare or legal market, or the engineering, life sciences, or even government markets, all of these markets are in need of digital signatures.